kind of man that Seattle was made for. What girl wouldn't have fallen in love with Asher? They were married just 6 weeks after they met. She was 19 and he was 22. 9.5 months later, they became parents of a baby daughter, Trina. They bought their first house a year later and barely escaped with their lives when it burned to the ground. Even now, Meg could close her eyes and smell the smoke, feel the heat of the flames, and remember how it felt to stand on the curb with Trina sobbing in her arms and Asher's arm heavy over her shoulders, watching the flames devour their home, grateful to be alive, even as she wondered how and where they were to live. But Asher, happy Asher, never complained, not even after realizing the insurance money wouldn't be enough to replace what they had before. He built them another house, better but much smaller, on the same lot and with his own hands. That experience convinced them he should go into business building smaller, smarter, quality-constructed homes. They started right-size homes with what little was left in Meg's trust from the sales of the Promise girls, and $30,000 borrowed from Joanie. Asher was a good builder but a bad businessman. He could construct a 600-square-foot house that was cute as a button, tight as a drum, and as comfortable to live in as one twice its size, but he couldn't keep track of scheduling, contracts, expenses, and most importantly, income. Months could pass before he got around to sending bills for his work. Meg gave up painting entirely and became his bookkeeper, scheduler, office manager, and co-designer. When she heard of it, Minerva left a voicemail rant about how stupid and selfish Meg was to abandon the artistic gift her mother had sacrificed so much to develop and nurture. Meg blocked Minerva's number. That worked for almost a year. Then Minerva got a new number. Meg blocked her again, and again, and again. Now, unless she knew exactly who was calling, Meg let the phone ring. In truth, it was a relief to give up the artificial seeds of aspiration planted by Minerva upon her birth. If Meg had been braver, more realistic, she'd have scrapped it all years before, like Joanie. She'd have been happy, like Asher. For a time, she was. It was good working alongside her husband, building beautiful little houses that people of modest means could afford. Even better to build a business and family and life together, something solid that they could be proud of. But this far in, shouldn't life be a little more certain? Shouldn't she know for sure what and who she could count on? But she didn't anymore. She hadn't for months. That was what bothered her, far more than finances. Meg opened the Visa bill and groaned when she saw the total. The screen door slammed and she heard Asher in his work boots clumping into the kitchen.
Hey, babe. I dropped Trina off at the science center and then went to the job site. They delivered an electric water heater instead of gas, so I've got to return it. I thought I'd swing by, grab some food, and say hi.
He opened the refrigerator and started rooting around.
Do we have any of that leftover quinoa salad?
Trina finished it, she said without looking up from her work. Asher came into the alcove carrying a container of potato salad and a spoon. He stood behind her and bent down, pressing his lips onto the curve where her shoulder became her neck.
How's your morning going? Feel like taking a break?
Asher, not now, really. She twisted her shoulders, breaking contact. We're either $3,000 under budget or $600 over. I need to figure out which.
Bet I know, he said with a wry smile. And what difference does an hour make? We'll be just as broke at 1 as we are at noon, won't we? And since Trina's not home...
He lowered his head again. Meg scooted her chair closer to the desk and sat up very straight, refusing to look at him. Asher, stop. I'm not in the mood. He was quiet, so quiet that she thought he might have left the room. But after a moment, he walked around to the side of the desk. For once, he didn't look happy. He took the credit card bill from her grasp and laid it down on the desk.
Meg, talk to me. Tell me what's going on. You haven't been in the mood for 6 weeks, 3 days, and 14 hours. Not that I'm counting or anything.
A wisp of a smile broke through his somber expression, but quickly dissipated.
We've never gone 6 days before, let alone 6 weeks.